Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about two more surface techniques that you can utilize. The first one is watercolor underglazes. So what you see here, this text was all written with these watercolor underglazes. You can see all of these different textures and patterns done down here. There's some really fine details you can achieve, softer finishes. It's more painterly. It's just like watercolor. The other one we're going to talk about is using the underglaze pencil. So you can see it is basically pencil underneath a clear layer of glaze. So the beauty of this is you get that look of pencil right on the surface of your clay. It looks hand done. All right, so let's start with the underglazes that are watercolor form. So you can see here, just like regular watercolors, they come in a regular palette. There's a space for mixing up above. The difference is with these that a lot of times you need to just start with adding water to them. So before this video, I just went and added a little water to each one. It's kind of like revitalizing them, bringing them back to life. They work with water. So the more water you add, the lighter the color. So let's say on this, I wanted to do like a blue sky in the background. So I can take some blue. Remember, I can layer and I can kind of mix my colors unlike regular glaze. And if I want to do something in the background, I can use a bigger brush and like a lighter shade. So I'm gonna start with just something that's a lot lighter. That kind of feels a little lighter than I really want, so I'm gonna go back and add a little more pigment to it to make it a little more bold so you guys can see it a little better. Okay, one of the beauties of this technique is that you kind of see unevenness the way you would in sky. You also though, like let's say I'm not happy with this finish here. By adding a little bit of water to my brush, I can take the color that's already on the surface and kind of re-smooth it, re-blend it around. I can add to it as well. And most of it will come off with a sponge if I need to take more off. All right, so let's say that's kind of the background that I wanted for my piece. Now I can go with a smaller brush and do something more specific on the surface. So in this case, I want my color to be more bold. So if you notice, I am going around and around and around, trying to pick up as much of that pigment as possible. And I'm not gonna add a lot of water to it because I want it to be a little more bold. I'm also using a much smaller brush. So now I can go and add some details. Maybe I'm doing some grasses over the top. If I want it to be darker, which I kind of do, this is pretty light, I can go and add a darker, a black, a blue, a green, something that will make it stand out a little more. And I can just go and add my decorative details. If I wanted to add some kind of flower pattern, I could do that as well, taking some of the color once again that I want the flower to be, kind of adding it over what I already have. So you can see you can do some really cute small details. You could do this on the raw clay too. So if you really want your lines to pop out, you could do that as well. And just to show you a finished version, this is a mug that a student made. They did the underglaze to do all of their small detail work. Looks really, really pretty. Cactus has some nice details. And then instead of covering it with the clear glaze, they covered it with this tweed glaze, which gives this like salt and pepper finish, but it's still clear so you can see your details. So that is the watercolor. You apply to bisqueware, and then afterwards you put clear over it, or tweed in this case, and fire it. All right, the other one I mentioned, we're gonna talk about underglaze pencils. So the pencils come in limited colors. I have maybe 6 or 7 different colors, kind of the basic colors. I have brown and purple here. No, this is blue. So same type of thing. What I see on the surface is how it will come out. If your surface is uneven, because it is pencil, it is hard to kind of cover up all over the place. It also, you might hear that noise, it can make a kind of unpleasant noise, like chalk on a chalkboard, nails on a chalkboard. But I can do things like adding details, and it looks just more like handwriting. So if you want to do something that looks like a page from a journal, you could do that with these. Same thing, you'll add clear or tweed over the top of this, fire it, and then it has this finished kind of look to it. So we talked about our underglaze pencils, nice way to add some detail, and our watercolor underglazes today. Looking forward to seeing what you create.